I have the Chevy Spark here, and I'm going to show you how to remove the rear speakers. I would suggest seeing the front speaker removal as well on the website. There may have been something I missed between this one and the front one, so watch both. Also, the car stereo removal is available there as well. But we're going to start with our pry tool. We're going to need a 7mm socket and possibly a flathead screwdriver. So we're going to start with our pry tool here at the very top panel at the top of this door, and we're going to slightly try and pry the top edge away, releasing the two clips here slightly back. Now this is going to allow us to pull it slightly back and hopefully release it from the bottom. There are two tabs in the bottom here that go down into the hooks and down, so it's best to release the top clips and work that loose rather than work up and break the tabs. Now we're going to set this panel together, make sure that both clips are removed with it. Both clips will go back to the same spots here. Now we're going to take our flathead screwdriver and go down to the handhold here, and in this handhold is a round insert with a tab at one side that allow you to pull the edge of this cover up. Now this cover will fold back, it does stay in place, it can fall out as well. And this is going to give access to a 7mm bolt down here we're going to remove. And this bolt will come out. And this is the bolt that releases the door panel. Now we're going to see what we can do about getting the door panel off. We're going to take our pry tool and try and start at the back here and work our way down, releasing these clips. And these clips can be somewhat difficult. Once we get this panel started, there we go. There we go, right down to the next one. Now there is something I did miss on the front removal that I'm going to mention here. There we go. Now we're getting our fingers in there. I'm going to use my knee against the door itself to pull back on the edge of the panel and work my way around, releasing all these clips. Now what we have is the bottom of the door swings back. We have clips released down the front, along the bottom, and up along the back side. And this is going to allow us to push this panel right. We want to keep it slightly away from the door panel so the clips don't go back into their openings, and at the same time you want the opening here in the door panel to cross over the door handle. And once we push that up, that should come back and release. Now, we do have a connector here on the back. I'll show you that connector here in just one moment. The door panel here is very simple, but as I was removing the door panel, you want to check to make sure all the clips are available when you go to put this back on. We're missing one in this spot, which means it's still on the door panel, so we're going to remove this clip, put it back into its spot before we put the door panel on. Now this connector, it's a simple white connector. The rear doors usually have one connector. It is keyed, it fits back into the spot that it came out of only one way. But to release it on one side of it, there is a little tab at the top of it, and we're going to take this tab, and when you push this tab in the center here down, it releases the little lock here and allows you to remove the connector. Now before we get to the speaker here, when we removed the door panel, we had the door lock here. This swung down, and when we go to put the door panel back on, make sure this gets up through the opening on the top of the door panel. The door panel will go down into the sill first, and then all the clips will match up and snap back on. But as for removing the speaker has one bolt that secures it in place. It is a 7mm bolt. I do like sticking with the factory speakers here because they're very easy to replace. You remove the one screw, there is a clip that sits down here, a metal clip, so we're going to pull back to release that clip, and then the speaker will hinge away from the door, release up and out. Now what we have here is a straight tab along the bottom, which fits into the straight tab along the bottom of the door panel. One screw holds it in place, it goes back in and hinges in place. That's why I like factory, it's so easy to put back in. But we have a connector here on the back of the speaker too, and it is different from the white one here. This one has a red tab on it that locks this piece you're supposed to push down from working. So we're going to take this red tab and we're going to pull it up. It comes up about 1/8 of an inch to maybe 3/16, but this is going to allow you to see the black trigger. We're going to push this black trigger down. This will release the speaker, and we should be able to pull this connector right out. in most cases. Oh, I locked it back up. There. That was a big connector. If you do an aftermarket in many cases requires a special trim ring. You have to know positive, negative here, purchase the aftermarket harness that mates it. Then there are modifications because this speaker is thicker on this side of the door. I have seen a trick in cutting all the plastic out, keeping this trim ring and bolting through this so you get this spacer for aftermarket speakers. But for a factory one, when it comes to installing the factory speaker, we're going to push this red tab back down into place on this connector. And once that snaps back down in place here, we're going to take this connector and it pushes right back on into place here. And then just put the bottom hinge in, snap it on the top, put it back together. Again, watch out for the door lock. Hope this video has been helpful. Please subscribe, see front door panel and also car stereo removal on the website for any other models you may have as well. Thank you for watching.